Greetings, everybody. Mr. Kraft here. I wanted to give you all really the first video, which would have been sort of the first installment of my series. The video that I'm going to show you all today is a video of the presentation that I was invited to give. The North Carolina Classical Association reached out to me and asked me to give a talk about this project back. Let's see, I spoke on March 22nd of 2014. And here is the video that or rather the game, the world that I showed them. So I wanted to put this out there because it's got a lot of great ideas for Minecraft in terms of pedagogy and various ways to get your students more exposure and experience with the classical world. So here is here's the video. The world that I constructed, I first wanted to give those folks, many of them were not familiar with Minecraft, so I wanted them to see just what what the blocks were all about, what the game had to offer, and what were going to be the limitations, which you can sort of glean from taking a look at the blocks and various things that they have available to you. So the first building that I showed them was one that I had done a few years ago just for pleasure. This is a reconstruction of the House of the Mosaic Atrium found in Herculaneum, and this is as accurate as one could get according to sort of the game mechanics of Minecraft, and also according to what is left over from the eruption of Vesuvius. And so not everything, of course, was left intact, but a vast majority of it was, so I was able to capture that there. So I wanted to give you all a tour of this house so that you can see students then can have your students reproduce an existing house or villa in an effort to better familiarize them with the culture, the norms of the ancient Romans, and you could even do an ancient Greek house, of course. And so that all in an effort for the student to then compare that to what we rather consider norms today. So here we go, the House of the Mosaic Atrium. This will just be a quick little run through of the house. I've done another video where I do a very detailed tour of the place, but just to give you sort of an idea of this kind of thing that a student could do with Minecraft in an effort to learn more about Roman culture. So here we have of course, we've got these three main rooms, as I was just showing you there. The atrium. Then within inside of the atrium we have the impluvium and the compluvium. Then of course the tablinum. Then if we walk out here into this area, I'll just take you down this hall a little bit so you can kind of get a sense of the sorts of decoration that's available for the game. And then I'll step into the peristyle garden here so everyone can see what we have here, and then the exedra. Of course, on either side of the exedra, we'll find small cubicula. Again, their sole purpose was simply just for sleeping. And of course, all the decoration here, like I said, I've tried to base it all upon archaeological evidence. If there was no evidence for it, then of course I tried my best to put something that I felt was appropriate, although sometimes it won't necessarily fit. I mean, here's a painting of the Rape of the Sabines, which of course would not have been there, but the theme is there, and so I hope that you still at least can get a good idea. Again, we have more rooms here. I've outfitted them all. Then of course you take some liberties, and I would suggest that you encourage your students to take liberties too. So we don't know necessarily what was in this back room, so I thought, well, let's make it a sort of an armory, and I thought it was also appropriate to have a bit of a studio up here as well, so you see the scrolls and everything. Nice, he's got a nice, would have a nice view, I guess. Well, for the glass and the curtains of the peristyle garden, right? So if we just hop down off the stairs, then you see I've opted to try and make something like a kitchen. Of course, Minecraft is somewhat limited in the things that you're able to do, but again, I felt, at least by putting these things up on the wall, you could get a pretty decent idea as to what we're going for, and students will certainly get a feel for the room. Here, so we have of course the triclinium, and again, just the elaborate decoration and so on. Of course, the three couches there. There are a few other rooms. There were said to have been some servants' quarters, and so that's what I've tried to do here with these very simple rooms that will sleep multiple people. But at any rate, this is the oh goodness, if I could just get out of this room. There we go. At any rate, in a very quick way, like I said, I've done a deeper and more detailed video on this house, and I'll be posting that within the next couple of days or so. But I just wanted to give you an idea, so students can certainly recreate homes. This takes I would say probably 10 or so hours total if you include all the research that I had to do, and then finally drawing out the schematics and everything in order to reproduce. So this might be for more of an advanced student. The next step over, so not nearly as complicated, although it certainly could be, is a temple. Temples don't generally tend to be as complicated as houses or homes as you might expect. So here's a temple. This is a reproduction of the Temple of Portunus, according to the archaeological evidence. So we've gone with the dimensions, and just like I've said in all my videos, I go by 1 block is equivalent to 1 meter. And so here we've just tried to capture the essence of a relatively simple Roman temple, one that we do not have any evidence for what was in here. An altar, no doubt, would have fit nicely in here. So if we move along, so we have so far archaeological buildings where we have a house, and so we have the remains for that. Well, students can also work on building temples, and you can discuss the various purposes that these temples served, and then they can compare that to, well, how do we use these temple-like buildings today? Where do we see temple-like structures and construction today, and so on. Again, another idea for those students who are a bit more creative is to reproduce statues, or in this case, a vase painting. So what I've done here is, so we'll just click this button and read it real quick. So here, this was from a bronze vase, and it's going to show the story where Hercules is returning Cerberus to Eurystheus after completing his labors. And so if we get a little bit closer here, you can see, of course, it's very square. I realize that, and so it probably doesn't look as good as some might like it to. But if you were to compare it to an image of the vase, you will see that it is very much similar to that vase, and certainly gives students an opportunity to become more intimately acquainted with the story, because then they'll need to know and be able to explain, what is going on here. Why is Eurystheus hiding in that giant amphora? Who is Cerberus, and what's up with these 3 heads here? Hercules, what is this? What's he wearing on his head? What is this giant thing that he's got in his hand? And so students will then, because they're building this, they will then come to develop a deeper understanding of it, and hopefully vases as well, as they would need to explain the purpose and the manufacture, just in very general terms of vases. Now, something that I'm trying to do with my students presently, which is to recreate Rome, which is a very big, very ambitious project, can also be done sort of on a smaller scale if students wanted. So if students wanted to say, let me pick the Roman Forum, or perhaps let me pick the Acropolis, then they could certainly do something like that. So here we have the Greek Acropolis. This is not a 1-to-1 scale. This is actually half the size of what it should be. This was originally built some 4 or 5 years ago by myself and my brother. We sought to work within the limits of Minecraft that we were faced with at the time, and so making it half the size that it should have been was the best that we were able to do, given our limitations and time constraints. But as you can see, I think it turned out still very well. We certainly do have every intention of making this a full one-to-one scale as best as we are able to. So this will give students a better idea. So how would you go about planning a city? Where would of course this is not quite as big as a city, but you can certainly get the idea here by figuring out, well, why did they decide to put why was this pantheon put over here? Why was this temple put here? And I'm sorry, pantheon. I said mistakenly. I should have said Parthenon. Why did they place this walkway in the middle? So on and so forth. So as you can see, there are several different applications, and I wish to show you just a few more very quickly, which can be found just over here. So please excuse me if I'm going a bit fast, but I want to be able to show everything here. So you could explain to students the process of charcoal production here. So we can learn a little bit about how they would do that. Then we can move forward here and see the hypocaust system, and see how the ancient hypocaust system would have worked with the furnace, the flue. And you can then break it out into its little constituent parts. If I could just take flight here real quick. For some reason I'm not. There we go. And then we can turn in and take a greater look at how this hypocaust system would have worked in the greater scheme of things. So you can discuss innovations, have the students showing off building and learning about innovations. We can have the students make a Roman market. So if we want to buy some flores, maybe we press the button here. Salve quidis, visne flores emere, and so I would say yes. I'll come over here and find out that that's going to cost me quinque ore to purchase some of his beautiful flowers. And here we can get a sense, students can get a sense of a Roman market while also practicing their language. Now for your upper level students, you could practice the language here this is a very small scale of of Pompey's theater. And let's see, what do we have? Oh yes, of course. So here we are sitting in on a play, very famous one, Miles Gloriosus. We can read all of the Latin that's coming across the bottom of the screen. So your upper class students could either make this themselves, or they could be the actors there on the stage and produce a little play or even a bit of poetry if you would like. Another application is to show also historical events, occurrences that happened. So in this room, I had originally dedicated, with the help of my brother, a little scene to show the assassination of Julius Caesar. So you see, we have lots of the casca here, all these togaed men running around with daggers. Cassius, I think Brutus. There's Brutus. He's in here somewhere. Knew it. And so Kimber. So we were able to show the folks at the NCCA what it would have been like in this game to perish, just as Caesar would have done at the hands of these fine togaed gentlemen. So if this guy would just get in my way, I would like to exit. There we go. Without him coming, great. So this was a very quick and yes, the test, of course. This was just a very quick video that I wanted to give you all. I do apologize if it was rushed. I'd be more than happy to go into further detail on some of the other aspects of it, so as to better explain things. But in the meantime, I wish you all well. Gratias vobis ago, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.